I was so angry. All I wanted to do was throw my drill. Every time I tried to do something for myself, something got in my way. Now, I caught this thought before I had chance to actually break my drill. And it was this thought even mine? Are any of the thoughts my own? Now, nearly 2,000 years ago, the Gnostics would have said this thought wasn't mine. It was the Archons. There's one text in particular, the Secret Book of John from the Nag Hammadi Library. Now, this describes how the human race ended up being bound in the material world by the first ruler. This first ruler was an ignorant god who thought he was the one and only God. But when he decided to declare that if there's anything above him, then please show. And then this divine energy that came in like a human form of pure light, he got jealous and he decided to devise a trap for trapping this energy. Now, after coming up with a plan with the authorities, aka the Archons, he managed to trap this divine energy in matter using elements of the material world. So he used earth and fire and water to build a human shape to trap this divine energy in. So this is how the Gnostics said the humans were first created. Now, if you look into obviously the Bible, it would be called Adam. But the problem was, this first ruler didn't realize that the energy that he's trapping would always be more knowing than him. This energy knew exactly where it came from, and it came from the one true God, the pleroma, whatever you want to call it, it's the essence of everything. So the evil ruler decided to put it under a deep sleep, so it wouldn't remember where it came from. Now, while this Adam was asleep, he sat down with the Archons and made a spirit. This was a copy, a false or counterfeit spirit. And then what they did was they injected it into the human creation. So this fake spirit or false spirit would have us believe that the thoughts were our own. Now, in the text, it even names what the spirits added were. So you've got pleasure, desire, fear. So what actually comes out of pleasure? So it's lust, greed, anger. Now, what comes out of grief? Jealousy, envy. And what comes out of fear? Shame, lack of self-respect, following others just to fit in. And none of these show up feeling like it came from somewhere else. It shows up feeling normal. All these emotions, all these things that come up, we're very quick to think, oh, it's just a natural human emotion. So what does it feel like? It feels like something you'd think and do, which actually keeps you under the sluggish sleep. Now, I'm definitely not rid of these, and it's a path that might take a while to try and resolve. And one of the things that I've recently experienced was exactly this. So I was down the allotment. This is one of the hottest days in 2026. I were in the allotment because I knew I had to build a chicken coop because I was going away to Butlins for 5 days. I had to have someone to come and look after them, so what I wanted to do was put both my group of chickens together in one pen, so then all they had to do was one load of water, one load of feed. So I was there, and I got to that point later on in the day because things had always got in my way, and I was like, this is taking ages. I finally got there, thought, yes, now I can finally start. Started bringing pallets down, put them inside the pen where I was going to build it, and the first hole, my battery went dead. Yep, I was there covered in sweat, literally thinking I need to get this done, and my drill wouldn't even work. I remember standing there shouting and swearing, this fucking drill, what the fuck's going on? Almost just about to throw it, saying to myself, every time I try to do something for myself, something gets in my way. But before I decided to throw my drill, ring my missus up, start swearing and shouting down the phone saying it was everyone else's fault, I asked myself, was this thought actually true? Was it anyone else's fault? Now this got me thinking, where do these thoughts actually come from? And are any of these thoughts my own? Or are they just automatic things that I've learned or that have just become something of me which I've never really ever questioned? And then I thought about all the other things in my life, like my goals, my future, like my family, God, success, what I should and shouldn't do. I thought, where have most of these things that I thought were true and not true, or what I should do and shouldn't do, what goals I should have, what I should do with like my future and stuff, where did it actually come from? So it could be coming from parents, basically society, school, religion, the cultures that you brought up in, past experiences, fears, desires. All of them could be just coming from these archonic beings that have been implanted into my mind. So as I stood there, sweat dripping down my brow, thinking I need to go home to charge my drill, and what should I do next when it comes to building this chicken coop, I thought about the thoughts and how I was going to figure out which thoughts are mine. Because I've been automatically believing that these thoughts for years and never actually questioning or reflecting or contemplating if it's actually me or if it's something that I actually want to be or the person I want to be. Because most of the time I'd literally just start blaming everyone else before I even took any accountability for myself. Because in this situation, one of the things that really stopped me from throwing my drill and shouting at other people was me taking accountability and thought, you know what? I could have charged my battery day before. If I knew I was going down the allotment the next day, really I should have put it on charge. I knew that I was going away for weeks prior to that, so why didn't I start weeks earlier instead of leaving it till the day before? Or if I didn't have time or didn't really, have a solid amount of time over them weeks, I could have just built it bit by bit. I could have done 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. But I didn't. So I think the reason why these thoughts just pass as facts in our minds, because I was so used to just playing the victim. It's everyone else's fault. It can't be mine, because they're stopping me from doing what I want. So it's like a victim mentality. It's everyone else's fault. And then I think your mind likes to trick you to make you believe what you're saying is correct. So you think you're asking these rhetorical questions. Why does everyone else decide to get in my way? Why does everything happen to me? Why does anything get in my way? Why won't anyone let me do the things I want? So these are basically statements you don't really want an answer. What you're doing is you're passing the blame instantly to other people. They're disguised, and you then blame people for just the accountability that you should take in that moment. Now, I do have the full tool at the end of the video to help you figure out how, what thoughts are your own. But I just have a little text that I'd like to read from The Secret Book of John, which hit me hard when I read it, because I was just like, that's exactly like in that moment. So it says here, they created a contemptible spirit similar to the spirit that had descended, in order to adulterate souls through this spirit. See, adulterate. They wanted it to, basically not do good things. The angels changed their appearance to look like the partners of these women, and filled the women with the spirits of darkness that they had concocted with evil. They closed their minds and became stubborn through the stubbornness of the contemptible spirit until the present day. So my reading that was basically the thoughts in my head were disguised as my own. They got integrated in, obviously, from me growing up and thinking that this is the way to be and not really ever questioning it. So I believed it was correct. Now the thing, and one of the best tools that I have come up with to make sure you can discern these thoughts and really think about what person you want to be, what you don't want to be, or if you think these thoughts are your own, is it's a 6-step process. So the first one is you catch your thoughts. Now a lot of people say notice, because you do like they notice and stuff, but for me it's like you kind of catch it halfway through the thought, or you catch it as you're doing it, you think, right, it's like a wake up thing. You catch the thought. Then the next one is you take a breath. So in that situation I had to take a breath because I was angry, I was frustrated. And it could be the same for fear, desire, anything. You just take a deep breath in. You need to calm down so you can work through the rest. And that breath just kind of lets you take yourself groundedness in that moment. Then number 3 is you examine. Where does this come from? Why do I think that? Is this thought actually true? You examine that thought as if you're like your own little philosopher. The next one is take accountability for what I can do. So once you've discerned where obviously that thought has come from, then you need to realize, I need to take accountability in this. How could I have done things differently? What actions could I have taken? And there's always, no matter what situation you're in, there's always a place where you can take accountability. And then once you've done that, you release it. Now this isn't just release like they say with your meditation and stuff, just release the thought. No, it's an actual act of releasing it. And what you do is you think, this thought has come up a few times, and it's now time for it to change. So it's a release of that thought and knowing where it's like come from and thinking, you know what, that's not going to happen again. I'm going to release this thought. I'm going to release this thing I've built up. And then step number 6 is make a change. So this is where you actually think, right then, this has happened before. How can I make a change? What sort of personality traits do I want to keep, not keep? And just make the change consciously of who you want to be moving forward. I don't want to be this angry knobhead who's decided to blame everyone else and not taking accountability. So in that moment, I made a change of being like, I'm not going to stand there and start blaming other people. I'm going to see where I can take accountability and see if I can make a change. So what I want to ask you is, what automatic thoughts have you let run your life? So put that in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to give him some treats. Yeah. You going to do it? That's it. Well done. I'm going to give him a few more. There you go. Well done. That's all they need, no more.